Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hello, traveler, and welcome to Choose Your Own Misadventure. Starring Katie Willert, Tom Reimann, Christian Ramirez, Katie Goldin, David Bell, and Jane Adams. Today's game is Legacy of Dragonhold. Let us begin. Let us begin.
We're on day goddamn 3 of this fantasy adventure.
Are we going to the farmer's market?
I mean, probably.
Okay.
Let's see what fucking fresh hell wakes us up this morning.
Let's go to the farmer's market. We said get some hummus.
Yeah.
Maybe take a stroll, see the bonfire, and have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great...
We'll get to the goblins.
Yeah.
I think we should also keep an eye out for, like, couples who are not lesbian couples. Because I feel like the only couples that exist in here are lesbian couples. And, like, that's an interesting...
Old people.
Oh, the old people! I forgot about them. But they're not together.
That's true.
Probably because they're not lesbians.
I don't know. Costner has no opinion about that.
We awaken to the gentle sounds of Miriam and Braxton fucking.
Fresh gales of sex whooping.
We awaken to the
Gales
most
of
climax
sex
scene.
whooping, I think is my favorite one.
The rustic, lyrical sound of lesbian sex having.
Yeah.
Orcish grunts and gnome moans.
No man.
No moans. Gnomes. Just.
Yep.
No.
Alright. You wake late. The next morning to knocking at your door. Forgive the disturbance, dear, you hear Sapphire's voice say from the hall. Someone from the manor, from Countess Regina's household, has come to speak with you.
Oh.
You quickly dress yourself, and Sapphire leads you to a private sitting room where your guest is waiting for you. Timothy, the Countess's steward. Timitar, fussing in a ruffled yellow shirt. He's fussing.
He's fussing, and therefore he's going to be evil.
Oh, yeah.
Fussy men are always evil.
Yeah.
Thank you for seeing me, he says. I trust you're finding Dragonhold to your satisfaction.
He's like trying to like adjust his cravat.
Yes. Fumbling with his dicky.
As I'm just taking off his shirt.
Oh. Just ripped it off, and he's like swole. Not like shredded. He's like cut up in a way that none of us
He's like
anticipated.
fucking Wolverine.
Yeah. He stands and paces to a window, peering through it for a moment, then turning to you. I shall skip past the pleasantries, as I fear time may be of the essence. The Countess's son, Philip, is missing. He was last seen yesterday, the guy who probably helped murder the Sonia. The Sonia. He was last seen yesterday, leaving for a day trip to visit the Tree of Tales in the forest with his manservant Talbot.
Oh.
They rode 2 of her ladyship's best horses and should have been gone and back in a handful of hours. Timothy sighs and dabs at his face with a lace handkerchief.
With his shirt that he removed.
Right. The horses came back riderless early this morning. Timothy reaches to his belt and places a velvet bag on the table before him. It clinks.
Well, I'm guessing there's money in it.
I wish to... The Countess wishes to contract your services. Philip must be found, but none of her ladyship's guards are... He pauses, picking his words. Ideally suited for such a task. Celeste recommended you specifically for this. Timothy slides the purse across the table to you. You gain 50 go!
Hell yeah.
This is an advance for any expenses that may accrue. The rest awaits the safe return of Regina's youngest child. Please, hurry. The family can bear only so much grief.
I like that we still have the $50 coin advance from Fiore.
Mm-hmm.
That we're just like, yeah, we'll get to it.
You're just sitting on it.
Yeah.
You're gonna make us miss the market.
I wanted that hummus.
I mean, we can still go.
I also wanted like all natural beeswax candles and then like pickled green beans.
Pickled green beans are delicious.
Zogger.
Zag.
Zog.
Okay, we have some decisions. What do you mean so much grief? What can you tell me about Talbot? What can you tell me about Philip? Or say no more? I think I know what they mean by so much grief. Like,
like the
Sonia
daughter
just died.
fucking died.
Yeah.
Maybe ask about the manservant?
Talbot, you think?
Because he's the only one we don't really know.
Yeah.
We have-
Is he the one that saddled the horse?
Oh.
Galvin.
What's her name?
Let's
Oh,
check.
it's
His
Galvin.
name is Galvin,
Okay,
but he
that's
does have a
Galvin.
last name.
Oh, my name is
But he does have an
Galvin.
equally dumb name. Galvin and Talbot.
What was his fucking name?
Dweegle.
Teagle, yeah. That douche. Those wet eyes.
My name is Gibbler.
Sure, man.
He's got feet for hands.
I got eye boogers.
Talbot is a steady man and has been Philip's trusted servant these past 10 years. He was once a member of her ladyship's guard before an injury forced him to seek lighter duty. Oh, he took an arrow in the knee.
Duty.
Timothy puffs out his chest. I was myself a soldier once, you know. Logistics. He pauses as if lost in memory for a moment, then returns his attention to you. In any case, Talbot is a good man and a personal friend. If any harm has befallen young Philip, you can rest assured it befell Talbot first. We have another decision to make.
All right.
What can you tell me about Philip, or say no more?
Okay.
What do you think, man? I mean, ask about Philip, right? We don't really.
Sure.
We only know about him from the diary.
Yeah.
Words.
We know that he probably killed his sister.
Probably. Because apparently, I speed read through this. I don't know how many. Did everybody else read this?
I read like a quarter of it.
Oh, okay. So her uncle Kyric actually is the heir to Dragonholt.
Oh.
Like her mother was a bastard-born child. But Kyric wrote her and asked if he could be the heir, and she said no. So he's like mad, and it's like, I'm gonna
Right.
come.
And so
Murder
enlist
you
all the
guys.
other people.
Yeah.
So she took Deacon the guard with her on one of her trips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Deacon was at the
He's
guardhouse.
one of the guards.
Yeah.
He's the guard. He's like,
He was a shitty guard.
Yeah,
I know when you hit a girl.
You don't want to hit a girl even though it's her job to fight.
Even though this seems to be a gender equitable society. I don't want to hit a girl.
All right.
Yeah.
Philip is a darling lad. 13, no, I tell a lie. He has just celebrated his 14th name day. He is bright and inquisitive.
Didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah.
Always reading books and telling stories. This trip of his to the Tree of Tales is just the sort of thing he does, you understand. Timothy smiles and shakes his head. He once brought home an injured bird and tried to get me to nurse it back to health. I have no idea how to care for a bird, of course, and neither did Philip. And so the bird died.
And so we ate it.
After only a few days, poor thing. Philip cried and insisted we bury it beneath the family's apple tree in the orchard. The steward sighs, then looks directly into your eyes. Please bring Philip home.
I don't think he did it.
Sounds too soft.
Yeah, he's not a. If he doesn't murder animals willingly, then he's not a sociopath.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I bet it was
Man.
Deacon. I bet it was
I
Deacon.
don't know.
Deacon was like,
Yeah, it's true. He's a bad guy because he was getting beaten by a lady at combat. So,
Well,
I
like-
don't know.
And then he got mad and stormed out.
Well, the thing, but
Also,
the
She
his name
got
is
mad and
Deacon.
stormed out.
Oh, that's
She was like, I'm not going to fight if people aren't
oh
going to take
right,
this
yeah,
seriously.
that's
and then
true.
She
That's,
left.
that's right. She left and he stayed.
But he could
Okay.
just have a complex
I
He is a
issues
shitheel.
with women.
I think
Yeah.
Timotei
Timothy,
is
Timothy.
Tamilty.
suspicious.
Charmlar.
Yeah, Timothy is suspicious.
You return to the common room to find Sapphire waiting to pounce. Well, she asks, what did the steward want? Was it about the Countess's son? He's missing, I hear. Tell me. You explain in brief terms that what Timothy asked of you while Sapphire fixes you a breakfast of oatcakes, butter, and a small basket of berries.
And huge glasses of milk.
Just milk. Just jugs of
Buckets
milk.
of
Yellow
Room
milk.
temperature milk.
Ugh.
Little
Oh,
pieces
that's
of
the only
hay
kind they
of
have.
floating in it. Still
Ugh.
warm.
Gonna add another neck cheese to my items.
That poor child, she adds when you finish both your meal and your story. Well, you may want to see my niece at her shop. She might have potions or something for you. Good luck. Philip is a good lad, and I'd hate to see him hurt. Then Sapphire is called away to deal with a new guest, and you walk out the front door of the Swan.
She
Still
might have
eating
potions
berries.
or some shit.
This encounter is complete when you are prepared to enter Eventide Forest, visit the dragon statues.
Okay.
As
So, dragon statues to look for Philip.
Yep.
And then the southern road for the goblins, which I assume maybe will just be the northern road? I don't know.
It must be something.
Then we were gonna go to the market. Freaking
Should we go to the market first and then go after
yeah,
Philip?
let's go get some hummus and then go.
Yeah, it's still in the morning. We still got time.
We got time,
baby.
Right.
It's
So,
not a big-
just
that
need
big
to
of a
choose the
deal.
location.
It's only a 14-year-old boy lost in the woods. He'll be
So we'll go to market.
Yeah, we're going to the goddamn market.
Let's go to the farmer's market.
Hmm.
I want some, like, organic oranges.
Yeah, they only have
Market
apples at this
Yeah, had too
fucking
many.
place.
And then Garfield's just gonna crush them between his abs and then let the juices run down the, like...
Rivulet.
It's gonna flavor the cheese that
Yeah.
is already growing.
Cheesy ab cider.
Market Street. Dragonholt's Market Street is barely 100 yards long, a wide, partly cobbled lane that runs from the village green out toward the fields and farms that surround the town. Along the center of the street marches a line of trees, providing a number of convenient boughs to which merchants might tie their tents and awnings when they set up their stalls. Blech. Bordering the street are several permanent fixture stores. Along the west side of the street, a seamstress, a woodworker, a butcher, and a smithy. Along the east side, the apothecary shop, a bakery, and a fletcher. A small tea house stands between the apothecary shop and the bakery. There are no posted business hours, and you can't say you've ever seen the shop open, but it's kept in fine condition all the same. Read the entry below that corresponds to the current day. What day are we?
3.
3. The street is bustling with activity. Yeah! We did it. Full of carts groaning with produce and goods.
Groaning with produce?
Yeah, vendors
Groaning
cry out
Those swollen
prices.
fruits.
Shoppers argue with one another, and 2 guards in Lady Regina's library march up and down the street to dissuade thieves and cheats. It feels as if there are twice the number of people crowding the street as actually live in Dragonhold Village, which might in fact be true. There are heaps of apples for sale. Round red tomatoes, mushrooms gathered from the forest, cages full of squawking chickens and grumbling ducks, bolts of wool cloth dyed green and orange and red, skeins of yarn, jars of honey, and fruit preserves. Where's the hummus, guys? Baskets of round black bilberries and sweet purple blackberries and bright red strawberries.
Lazarg!
Buckets of nails.
Larsk. Buckets of nails?
Buckets of nails. Comes right after strawberries, by the way. Buckets of nails, not to mention baskets and buckets and jars themselves. Anybody need any jars?
Like,
We doing a
Garfield's
craft
just
Yeah.
eating a bucket of nails and going, Al dente Lazarg!
One cart near the end of the row catches your attention. A gaily painted wagon hung with a sign that read Al Amir's Elixirs. A short fellow with an enormous striped turban and a thick mustache stands in front of the cart holding aloft various bottles of brightly colored liquids. Do we browse the merchant's wares, attempt to steal some coins, which I can do because I have thievery,
Ooh.
leave the market? Well, let's browse the merchants. Let's get some hummus and some lasagna.
Yeah.
Let's browse the wares and then rob them.
Yeah. 4, 5, 4, 2.
Rob these chowder heads.
Okay. Come, try my elixirs, calls the merchant. His voice is lilting with an accent you cannot place, and I'm not going to try one because it'll be offensive. They are brewed with secret recipes from far-off lands, yes? Catching your eye, the man steps forward. You! Ah, fortune has brought you to me, I think. Come now, come see what I have to offer. He makes a sweeping gesture, ushering you forward to stand before his cart as if presenting you into a grand ballroom or secret sanctum. Santa.
Secret Santa.
The fire of Lorimer, nectar of the desert rose, powdered dragon's tooth. I have all of these things, yes? But I see what they're trying to make me do by writing this person's dialogue, and I'm not going to do it. But I see you eyeing my potions of healing, yes? 35 gold per vial for you. Special price.
You mean it's sort of vaguely, like, Middle Eastern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also this, he flourishes, and you see a cylinder glass vial filled with sparkling green liquid. A potion to grant you incredible speed. Yours from
Yes.
70 gold. Very handy in a tight spot.
Give to Garfield. Give to Garfield.
70 gold
Get
is
flask.
a lot of money.
The man steps back, placing the exotic potion on a rack and on the edge of his cart. He tugs
We
at
only
the
have
exotic
170.
silks of his strange attire and arches an eyebrow. So you will buy, yes?
Steal.
So this is it's another big decision if you want to.
Steal.
Right as
Steal.
you get Muddy Buddy on your
Steal flask. Garfield eat.
Garfield, eat man. Steal flask.
Steel flask, run
Eat
very
man.
fast and very quietly.
Take flask. Run fast. Eat all in path.
Eat nail lasagna.
Eat
Yeah.
nails.
Eat
Al
past
dente.
the market.
We may purchase up to 2 healing potions for 35 gold per potion. We may
Kevin
purchase
Costner
1
might really
swiftness
fucking
potion.
We have 3 already. So
That Kevin Costner is just only
Um,
on 2.
So we can do 1 swiftness potion or 2 healing potions, and then time passes, and this encounter is complete.
So wait, we don't have to buy any. Do we have to buy something?
Wait, hold on. Oh, sorry. There's options. I was in one of the options. Attempt to negotiate a better price, or leave without buying anything.
Yeah, I can negotiate.
Let's haggle.
Yeah, let's
Let's
haggle,
haggle.
because 70
You've
gold.
got streetwise, so you probably can
What is it?
negotiate.
What skill does it require? Or does it say?
It doesn't say yet.
It's probably going to come in
1264.
later.
Can, like, just being a huge,
I have haggling, yeah.
disgusting
Or I
cat.
have persuasion.
It smells like cheese.
Intimidate him.
Persuasion.
Like hot
But you just
cheese.
used your decision to do that, though.
1264.
Does anybody else have streetwise?
No,
I do.
but I can brandish my pot.
I have a meat hammer.
I think if somebody has empathy too, that would
Jesus.
Oh, I have
maybe
that.
come into
I
play.
just got deception and thievery.
Deception might work. We don't know.
I have no empathy.
1264. You point out that you know a pretty good apothecary in town, and you're pretty sure you get a better deal from her. And you try to haggle the strange merchant down in price. My wares are the finest in 6 kingdoms, proclaims the merchant. You would have to travel to Akalim yourself to find better. If you have persuasion or streetwise, which I do, 2415.
At least I didn't, like, make him, like, vaguely Jewish.
Oh, God.
I mean, it seems like all fantasy does that. Like, they're always like, oh, it's the merchant race.
Yeah.
Yep.
After some back and forth, the man seems deflated. His mysterious exotic accent is gone too. All right. All right.
This guy's
he
just
sighs.
a racist.
25 for the healing potions, 50 for the potion of swiftness, and that's as low as I can go.
So
Have
he's
to
racist,
make
not the
some profit
game.
out of this backward town. So we can either purchase up to 2 healing potions for 25, a potion, one swiftness potion for 50. Then we mark 1 progress in social practice. Time passes and the encounter is complete. So what do we want to do?
Swiftness, right? Buy swiftness. Because we've already got a couple of healing.
Yeah, we got a couple.
Is
right?
swiftness,
Alright.
like,
What
permanent, or is it just, like, a temporary
What item is it?
Item D.
Okay.
So we just have the 1?
Yeah.
We'll give it to the giant swole
Yeah.
cat.
The terrifying nightmare
Yeah.
cat. Should we go look for the kid?
Or go fuck those goblins.
Let's fuck the goblins.
Okay, so we're, I guess,
Try the northern road.
okay.
What if the kid dies because we took too long?
I don't care about that kid. I want to kill goblins.
12,
And Miriam.
And Miriam. I'm
So,
classifying Miriam as a goblin.
northern.
Now I feel bad about killing Miriam because I like Braxton and I don't want Braxton
To be
to
sad?
be sad.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true.
So if
hate
you just,
that.
like, maim
They've
her in a
only
way
just
that
been
doesn't
engaged.
affect their intimate life.
Okay.
Yeah, like sew her mouth shut.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, that
Oh,
affects
that's
the
going to affect their
intimate- Yeah, never mind. I said it and then I was like, no.
We can just affect her voice box only.
Yeah, we'll just tear
Stab her
her
in the neck,
vocal
yeah.
cords out of her throat.
What if we do, like, a Phineas Gage type thing? Get a rail spike through her head? Change her personality?
Alrighty. A dirt road leads away from the village, running mostly straight across the rocky plain to the north until it disappears over rolling hills that give way more Give way to more mountainous terrain in the distance. Head to the mine to the south. Requires that story point B1 is marked.
We got that.
Good. Yay.
Read entry 1009 in the Sliver of Silver quest book. Do we have that?
Different book, yeah.
Cool.
So we're going on a quest.
Apparently.
We're questing.
Yeah.
You trek south away from the Willow Grove and Dragonholt. After an hour hike, you make your way down into a rocky fissure that branches away from the mountain road. The path soon leads over a stone bridge that crosses an underground river. A few buildings stand before the mine's entrance in various states of disrepair. The mine's main entrance is blocked by a makeshift set of double doors barred from the inside by a heavy wooden beam. You recall the map Fiore showed you and follow the river's edge to a thicket of brambles. Sliding between the rock face of the ravine and the hazardous thorns, you come across the concealed tunnel you were told about, a narrow and dark passage that falls deep into the stone. Steeling yourself for the journey, you light a lantern and carefully climb down into the darkness. The passage twists along rough walls, speaking clearly of its emergency nature. What?
Emergency nature.
It's
today
rough.
on my new pop punk band.
It's rough
That's
walls, like a cat in a china store.
You pick your way along gingerly, careful to keep your light low. That doesn't make any sense.
Gingerly.
Finally, you come to a point where the passage joins the main hallway. Through the opening between the two passages is no more than a gap in the rock beside the wooden support beams. You're about to squeeze through when you hear approaching footsteps and the voices of two goblins, idly jabbering with one another as they patrol. So we have some options. Ambush the patrolling goblins, or hide until the patrol has passed.
Ambush.
Murder.
Yep.
It's your
We're here for genocide.
it's your
I guess
coin.
That's what we're doing.
It
your
says
token to
this
flip.
option does not exhaust your activation token, but that's...
Okay.
I'm gonna pass it anyway. 1880.
You wait quietly until the goblins are just outside the side passage. You leap forward just as one of them notices the light from your lantern. The sudden movement causes both to shriek and scramble for their weapons.
Giant fucking cat.
Just imagine, just like the sun, like you just hear the husky
It's
breath.
appearing from the darkness.
Rush
Like
at
a
the goblins
fucking
and
phantom.
attack. Blast them with a gout of flame. I've never heard.
A gout of flame.
I thought the gout was a
The
lymphatic
king's disease.
system
Yeah, it's a disease. Too
It is
much
a
like
disease.
rich
A
food.
gout is also like it's
Oh, okay.
illusion of like blood gouting.
Oh, I've never heard
It's like
that.
a stream, yeah.
Yeah.
I've only heard of the gout.
Wait,
You know,
so is
the
Garfield
thing our president has.
Oh yeah.
Wait
is
for.
Garfield spitting fire at them?
No,
Well,
you have to have
Arcana.
Oh.
Or you wait for them to attack you first. No. No way. Rush at the goblins and attack. Or wait, I mean, okay.
Well, if we want to use the fire, because Jane didn't use her token last time, so we could. You have Arcana, right?
Do I?
I thought you did.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, you have a.
She has alchemy.
Alchemy.
I know, alchemy.
All right, so we can't do that anyway.
Yeah, we don't have a wizard.
I mean, like, what if these are, like, pacifist goblins? We could be, like,
Lazard.
let's rush at them!
Flip that token for these fuckers.
2681. 2681. You let out a savage growl, yeah.
Oh, no.
That startles the goblins
Lazard.
into dropping their spears. Lazarg, it is time to Monday! Then you lunge forward, grabbing their outstretched arms. Leaning your body into a spin, you pull the goblins off their feet and into an arc, slamming them both roughly into the wall.
Oh my god!
Jesus Christ!
The pair collapse as you release them. You're congratulating yourself on your combat maneuver when one of the wall supports shifts slightly, groaning, and curtains of dust rain from the ceiling. You freeze instinctively, but a moment later, the dust stops. You make a note to be more careful in the future. So, to recap, Garfield has almost brought down the entire mine shaft by murdering so hard. Okay, mark story point A2.
I do love that. Stops. Reflexively stops and looks
Okay.
around, and I just imagine a giant
Yeah.
cat.
It's like,
Like licking its paw and being like, wait, what?
Then he pauses to lick his butthole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really gets in there, too.
1751.
It got dusty.
1751?
You follow the main passage along the route you recall from the map until you come up to a large rectangular room. On the left is a vast stone trowel. A pipe nearly an arm's length across emerges upward from the stone floor to deposit water into the trowel, but no water is flowing now.
Gotta turn it on!
Oh gosh, remember? Remember how they said we need to turn on the water?
Costner starts freaking out because, as you know, he's convinced that one day the entire world will be covered in water.
Is
He's
this
not
the
ready
only
yet.
thing keeping the world from being a water world?
I don't think we should turn that shit on, you guys.
A water wheel connects to a collection of gears that powers a smaller water screw, presumably the one meant to pump the water up to the river above. Along the back wall is an iron walkway elevated above the ground, another walkway, a large furnace set into the wall, cold and dark. Above, along the walkway, are a series of levers and wheels.
Wow.
I think this is your decision, right?
Well, Jane's the only one who actually hasn't activated her token yet.
Oh, I see.
So actually, this is Jane's, right?
Mm-hmm.
1751. Heat the furnace and get the pipeworks running again, which requires craftsmanship or reasoning. Do you have either of those?
Craftsmanship?
No.
Son of a
Although
bitch.
Martha Stewart should have craftsmanship.
Blindly attempt to activate the pipe system,
Yeah, let's totally do that.
Yes.
I picked that one.
or ignore the pipeworks. Oh, you want to do that one?
Yeah.
All right.
No. We're gonna bring this fucking mine down.
Maybe.
We almost did.
Wreck
I mean,
I
it's
know,
just
already.
a matter of time between all of us.
Wreck it!
Okay, you heft a shovel and begin loading coal from a nearby pile into the furnace. You find tinder in a small alcove beside the furnace, and soon the furnace is aglow with heat.
Swipe right.
With the furnace heated, now you just need to get the water screw running, right? How hard could it be?
Oh boy.
You throw a few levers and spin one of the wheels, unsure if any of them are helping. Soon a horrid screeching of metal grinding against metal sounds from the larger water screw. If you have awareness or devotion, do you?
No.
Okay, otherwise read 3, 4, 88.
We're all gonna
Jesus.
die, aren't we?
Jane might.
We could drink this swiftness potion and gain awareness for the day.
That's true. Here you go, Jane. I'll hand you.
Cool.
You can read the consequences there.
30.
3, 4, 8, 8.
You grip your weapon and charge at the giant goblin. There's a giant goblin?
Is
Oh,
that
3488.
Oh, yeah,
not
3488.
3448.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're like, where? Where did it come from?
What?
It's a giant metal goblin. Metal
Oh,
on
no.
A
metal.
giant goblin being your inability to understand simple
Right.
mechanics.
Right. The giant goblin that plagued us all.
That can't be good. You throw levers and spin wheels on the control panel. A series of clicks starts coming from the water wheel. The large screw begins to spin, and the screeching grows louder. You throw a lever, and finally, the horrid sound stops.
Oh, good.
But what's causing that clicking? After pushing or pulling 3 or more levers, you've managed to stop the clicking sound, but now the large water screw is spinning much faster than you had expected it could. A deluge of water showers from its end and splashes over the sides of the stone trough. You tried desperately to remember which lever is which. It was this one, right? You pull it, and your ears ring with metal screeching.
Oh, no.
Yay.
You throw the lever back to stop the sound. Not that one. You spin one of the wheels frantically, and at last you see the water screw slowing to a more manageable speed.
Okay, good.
That should do the trick. Mark story point Y4.
So there's literally no consequences to us being impulsive
Well,
and not thinking.
time passes. Read entry 6897.
We fixed it!
You leave the pipeworks behind and descend a set of stairs into another tunnel. Just then you hear an odd scraping sound. Carefully, you edge forward and look around the corner. A side passage opens up into a natural cavern, which is studded with a small fungal growth that with small fungal growths that glow with a faint purple luminescence.
Huh.
Gross. Eat them.
Even and Garfield just is glowing now.
To one side of the cavern, a lone goblin is leaning over, looking at something on the ground and making small, snorty giggles. Whatever it's doing, it doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Oh, we're gonna
Is that
murder this
goblin
poor
high?
guy just like fucking in his kitchen, like looking at something
He's
on
having
the
a
ground.
great,
Clearly
he's having a
hot.
great time.
Yeah.
He's like
Um,
high as shit.
Tripping on the mushrooms.
Our options are to draw our weapons and attack, sneak up behind the goblin, and subdue it quietly.
Well, it's another decision, right? So
Right,
it's
but I
you.
think we made the last one, so everybody's is refreshed.
Okay.
Everybody's token is split back over.
I mean, I'm pleading for you to do that one.
To sneak up on it?
What are our choices?
Draw our weapons and attack, sneak up behind the goblin and subdue it quietly, and ignore the goblin and sneak past.
What, do they require any skills on any of those?
Nope.
I'm going to
Not
guess we
on this
probably
page.
need stealth
Let's sneak up
at
on that
some
some
point,
bitch.
or we're going to give ourselves away.
Well, several of us have stealth.
I have stealth.
Yeah. Sneak up on it.
I do.
Okay, do you want to sneak up on it since you're stealthy?
I feel like I just took a turn, but
I mean, we
I'd
doubled
be happy
back.
to. Yeah, I can do it. On silent feet.
On silent kitty paws.
Heaving breath rattling in your chest.
Hot breath forming plumes of condensation. You slink into the cavern like a shadow. You are only just out of reach when the creature suddenly stands and jabbers something to itself under its breath. The goblin reaches for the dagger at its belt. If you have brawling skill or stealth skill at bow,
You do.
Garfield is a monster. 8696. 8669.
Eat him!
With a practiced fluid motion, you grab the goblin.
He has practiced this many times in his own room.
With a motion as fluid as oil, you grab the goblin lightning fast, wrapping it in a powerful chokehold. Shh. No more pain. Just dreams now. The goblin is so shocked it barely remembers to struggle. And before long it goes limp in your arms.
Fuck yeah. Eat him!
You lay the creature to rest on the stone floor, open your massive drooling mouth, and slither towards it like a snake, unhinging your jaw and engorging the entire goblin. 1014.
So this is, like, has any of us done anything?
No, we're just watching.
We're watching Garfield
Kill
it.
kill this.
Yeah. Murder
eat
two,
it.
and then a third.
And eat it. Presumably it's not dead. You just ate it alive. It's gonna wake up like...
John Voight and Anakin.
You examine what the goblin has been looking at, a patch of odd mushrooms identical to the ones high up on the ceiling and walls of the cavern. The mushrooms in this patch are larger than the others. You pluck the largest one to keep as a sample. You gain one strange mushroom. Mushroom. Item S.
Okay.
Read entries 6208.
Strange
S?
mushroom. Bum, 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 bum.
What did I say?
Strange mushroom.
6208.
That is one strange mushroom.
Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
bum. Strange mushroom.
You can eat it instead of choosing a location in the village. So you can go on like a fucking wild trip.
Go on a journey.
Yeah.
So 6208, leaving the cavern behind, you follow the main corridor further underground. After some time, you come across a thick iron door set into the side of a passageway. Well, you remember being marked as the blastworks. So this doesn't exhaust activation token, but, like, I feel like someone else should start doing stuff.
Okay. Pass it along.
Who wants
There's
to
been a
go?
couple in here that...
Yeah, that don't. Yeah.
keep
you just
rambling
keep on
on.
going.
Yeah, but it's, you know.
All right. Let's take a look inside, right?
Yeah. Oh, we gotta dim our lanterns. Or throw them away or whatever, right?
Right.
I'm adding to my item list partially
Digested.
digested
Goblin.
goblin.
Add strange mushroom, too.
You just
'Cause
hawk it
that's-
up
that's
and then it
notes.
winks.
And
That happens in Anaconda, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you throw John Boyd up and he winks. What is happening?
Creepy John Voight. With
All
his
right.
weird accent. That's not
Yeah.
Colombian.
Hola, todo. Nice Tony people.
Remembering Fiori's caution regarding the blastworks, you are careful to place your lantern just outside the doorway as you step inside. This is ideal for me because really the low light reflecting is really showing how thin my hair is.
In
I'm
fact-
not okay with that.
it's like it bounces off of your perfectly chrome head and like lights one
My
of the
35-year-old pate. The room is square and no more than 4 paces across, with walls, floor, and ceiling lined with rough riveted iron. Nearly everything in the room is metal as well. Mixing stations for powder, supply shelves, crates for explosives, excepting only giant glass jars of raw materials marked with paper labels, long faded. The lighting comes from hanging glass flasks full of luminescent purple mushrooms, though time has dulled their light to a soft amethyst glow, making the room worryingly dim. It's a good dim for me. We can create your own explosives from the components, which requires alchemy, but Jane can spend her token to do that. Grab some explosives from the crates, or leave the explosives and move on. What do we think is more?
What was the alchemy one?
Somebody uses an alchemy skill to create your own explosives from the components, or we can grab some explosives from the crates, or we can leave the explosives and move on.
What? So that we'll have explosives in the future?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Martha Stewart would have
Could
enough
mix a
control
good
issues
explosive.
to want to make her own.
Right.
So I'm going to expend my token.
All right.
She would start staring off into the distance. Now, what you want to do is who are you talking to?
Yeah.
I'm talking to my people.
55-13
55.
on the left-hand side.
I feel like everyone, this little corner is bogarting
Yeah.
the story.
Sorry.
Jane, no. Jane.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm in between two people. I feel like I need to take up less space.
You take up as much space as you want.
Yeah, you
spread.
take that space.
Man spread as you
I
read
will-
that book.
Martha Stewart spread here.
Right. Throw a leg up on the table. Lean back.
Straight up cat leg.
After searching the room with an alchemist's practiced eye, you manage to find each of the needed ingredients and set them up at a station with the strongest light source. Working with extreme care, you mix a new batch of blasting powder. You have enough fresh ingredients for only a single explosive. You find a dry shell made of paper and twine and fill it with the blasting powder. Next, you create a blast core.
We're over here I think she's making a bomb.
Next, you create a blast core by packing the blasting powder and fuse in a tightly wrapped cylinder. I feel like this is just a script for Martha Stewart to explain to you guys what she's doing.
She's really good at this.
Next, you insert the blast core into the blasting powder. Into the blasting powder in the shell and seal the container so that only the fuse protrudes.
Are you rolling a joint?
No! It might not be pretty, but this will surely produce a strong explosion if needed. Mark story point M7 and read entry 4037.
I bet it is pretty, though. Martha Stewart.
Yeah. Oh,
made it.
Yeah, I feel like it looks like one of those party crackers where you pull
Yeah.
it's very little paper and
It just looks
There'll definitely be
delightful.
glitter when it...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah.
confetti in it when the explosion is happening.
She's I like to use a bit of tulle to line the inside.
it adds a nice touch.
It's a good thing.
You cautiously open the door to the main corridor and look down in confusion, realizing your lantern is missing.
Uh-oh.
Standing in front of you is a goblin holding the lantern and examining it curiously. The creature looks up to see you standing in the doorway, and for a moment, neither of you move.
This is awkward.
Then it shrieks and drops the lantern to the ground where the glass shatters.
Oh, shit.
We're gonna blow it all up, aren't
Yeah.
we?
Yeah. Before you're completely aware of what has just happened, the goblin is sprinting down the tunnel ahead of you with surprising speed. The lantern oil on the ground catches, and the fire soon spreads over the tunnel floor.
No. We did the exact thing we weren't supposed to.
Yep.
Which was
What are our
blow up
options?
the mine.
Leap the flames and chase the goblin.
No.
Put out the fire before giving chase.
Yeah.
And squelch the hazard with runic frost.
Sit on it.
Probably not.
Requires frost rune. We don't
We
have
don't
that.
have that.
So I'm
So-
saying
It's to...
I'll stomp out the fire, right?
Yeah.
We want to put out the fire.
Yeah, we want to put out the fire.
I'm sort of disappointed that there isn't a party favor bomb item that I should
that you
now.
should get after making it.
Should I just write it down that I have a
Probably.
party favor bomb?
It'll probably reference having story point, whatever we just checked
Yeah.
off, M7.
Yeah,
I'm
cutie.
gonna write it down.
Cutie bomb. Cutie bomb.
party favor?
Cutie party favor bomb.
All right, 55-19. Let's put out this
Cutie.
fire.
Party
Somebody sit on it.
favor.
I mean, I'm gonna try.
Can throw my neck cheese
Come
on
on,
it.
Costner.
Squelch it with my neck cheese.
Thinking quickly, you kick the lantern down the tunnel to remove at least one source of ignition from the pooled oil. Next, you untether your bedroll and throw it down to smother the remaining flames. Y'all using my bed on this! As you stomp out the last embers, you hear a clatter and shriek. You look up to see that the fleeing goblin has tripped over the discarded lantern and is now struggling
What
his
an
feet
idiot.
once
How
more.
did it even
Fucking Costner!
Shoot an arrow at it.
Yeah. You scoop up your bedroll, only slightly singed, and give chase. Read entry 44.
I like that you re-rolled your bedroll and threw it over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's like I took the time to pack it back up. It's like, no, man, like, come on.
Well, you're an
like,
old
hang on,
guy.
guys,
You need
hang
that
on.
bedroom.
Yeah, you bought a special one because it's better on your back.
Right, look,
I
my
can't
35-year-old
orthopedic bed
joints.
Yeah, you don't wake up when
I need it for my sciatica.
My tailbone gets all kinds of fucked up if I don't sleep on this bed.
Get it from like the Dragonhold Brookstone or whatever.
Yeah.
Place it.
The Sky Mall, whatever.
Tempur-Pedic ammo.
It's early onset arthritis.
You keep running, following the goblin to what appears to be a way station for mining carts, nearly empty except for a pair of carts sitting on a downward sloping track. Without slowing down, the goblin jumps into the front cart and releases
Roller
the brake
coaster!
lever. Oh yeah, fucking car chase! I start making siren noises with my mouth. The cart quickly picks up speed as it glides along the tracks, and its goblin rider lets out a self-satisfied cackle. Oh no, you didn't, motherfucker! You leap.
Can you imagine all 6 of us shoved in one of the little cars behind us? Just giant cat in the back.
Like some Scooby-Doo cartoon.
That's well, you don't have to imagine because that's exactly what's about to happen.
Have you guys seen that not Disney animated movie called Cats Don't Dance?
Oh yeah, with Scott Bakula.
Yeah. Remember the Max character where it was like it's hard. So there's this the movie Sunset Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the old lady actress and then her
Right.
butler, scary butler Max.
Mm-hmm.
And this cartoon movie, the scary butler is like gigantic, and it's like a reference to that old movie. But like, what happens is like one of the characters will like exit a room, and like the butler's standing there, and they go in the new room, and then the butler's standing in the new room. I just
took us all on a journey there.
Yep. So we all pile in
So
the
we leap
car.
into the other cart, lift the brake, and are soon speeding along after the creature. The carts careen through the dimly lit mine tunnels, increasing in speed as the tracks take you deeper underground. The goblin takes notice of your rolling pursuit. You're gaining on it,
In my
because
head.
we're a cart full of 6 people.
In my head, it's the Space Mountain theme is what's playing as we're going.
every time we get to the top, like Garfield shoots his arms up like.
The creature hefts a sizable rock from its cart and holds it overhead, ready to toss it in your direction. Decision time.
There's no way he understands like
Physics.
relative.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, we're speeding this way. He's throwing it that way and up the
He's
hill.
gonna like throw it in front of him, and then
Alright.
it's
Hit
gonna.
him in the face.
Guess I'm gonna have to catch this fucking rock.
What entry is it?
27:15.
You're gonna end up killing a bunch.
Kill even more people.
I don't know how I'm not using weapons and still probably managing.
I'm really excited to see how you're going to murder people accidentally this time.
Right. How will somebody
The most
accidentally die?
gruesome
this
way.
You lower your hips and brace yourself to receive the hurled rock. The creature heaves and tosses the stone with all of its might. The projectile, roughly the size of your head, tumbles through the air, straight towards your chest. If you have 2 or more of the following skills: athletics, brawling, or endurance. Yup.
Yay!
9801.
That is
gonna
bothering
kill
me.
that
The physics
fucking-
of that does not work.
You lower your hips and
Yeah.
brace yourself.
Brace yourself to receive it.
Yeah. Alright.
Receiving it.
You snatch the rock out of the air and grin savagely at the goblin.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
God.
your inner, all your past is
My
coming back to
berserker
the
rage
surface.
is-
Oh,
yeah.
no.
The creature shrieks and shrinks down inside its cart, a wise decision as you hurl the stone to shatter against the rim of the minecraft, showering the creature in gravel. Entry 2472.
Here it comes.
Kill
The
this thing
tiny
back.
pieces of gravel enter through its nose
It's-
and eyes.
Its tiny childlike blood will soon be on your
It
hands.
chokes to death.
Yeah.
The passage opens into a much larger natural cavern, eroded by an underground river over the centuries. The chamber is several paces across and extends to the right, far into the darkness. The track ahead crosses a bridge over a narrow channel of water before coming to an abrupt end at a buffer stop. As soon as the goblin's cart clears the bridge, the creature leaps out and tucks into a nimble roll before bouncing back to its feet and turning to face you. The abandoned cart crashes into the buffer stop with a cacophonous ringing of iron. Your cart crosses the bridge and is only a moment from colliding with the cart ahead and coming to a dead halt. I think Yeah, I'm done with mine. Right?
Yeah, you did your.
So, you get the choice.
Throw the brake lever. Leap from the minecart to safety.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. Use the cart's momentum to launch a flying assault, which I think sounds better.
That's the real choice.
Tumble from the cart and fire at the goblin, which doesn't sound as cool. Throw the cart at the goblin with your tremendous strength. Do I have athletics and endurance? No, I can't do that. Launch the minecart at the goblin with runic magic. So, I'm going to say...
Flying assault?
Please.
Yeah, use the cart's momentum to launch a flying assault.
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
This is like,
Yes!
This is 3, 5, 2, 3.
it's just gonna be like, it's just, you know, like in the Scooby-Doo when they have the funny basketball team.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Globetrotters, yeah, and they're all like crammed into one thing.
Oh, yeah.
You brace yourself for impact. Just
Oh,
as the
yeah.
cart, you lower your hips and brace for impact.
Yeah.
Just as the cart collides with the blockade, you leap forward, allowing your momentum to launch you through the air straight towards the goblin. Time seems to slow around you. The creature's face turns from triumph to abject horror as we're all just like...
Giant fucking cat.
Here comes Garfield.
I like to think Garfield's arms aren't even out. He's just like head first.
Mouth open.
Like a torpedo.
like a long distance ski jumper.
Yeah, just woo! Okay,
Expressionless.
so I don't have...
I want this to be a poster.
Sorry.
It says if you have brawling skill, which I don't. So I'm going to go to the other one, which is 1455. I hope I don't biff this because I don't have brawling. That would be
I
really
was gonna
sad.
say you have like agility though.
I do.
So.
You shift and extend your legs forward to collide with the goblin's chest. So we all jackknife
Drop-
that.
Drop kick.
Okay, the force of impact sends the goblin flying backward to slam against a heavy wooden support beam.
Oh no.
Oh, we're gonna all gonna implode. You land hard on your back on the rough stone floor. Only after a few moments of struggling are you able to pull yourself to your feet, your body aching. That's like someone did like a not good, like pile driver, and we're just all like, oh, we did that wrong. Okay, you lose 2 stamina.
Damn, I'm okay with that.
Sorry, guys.
Kevin
Yeah,
Costner.
it was
like,
worth it.
My sciatica.
You guys
I
hear
go
a
to my
loud crack
chiropractor
when
when we
Costner
get
hits
back.
the ground.
Okay, read entry 6323.
We drop kicked that fucking gun.
All of us. It was so good. It was all of us. Okay, having dealt with the fleeing goblin,
Oh, he's been dealt with.
did we kill him?
Well,
By
Probably
just
collapsed
kick
his
to
rib
the
cage.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Garfield unhinges his massive jaw.
You take a better look at your surroundings. This larger tunnel was clearly carved by the underground river, but the back wall has been braced with sturdy wooden beams, and multiple mine shafts have been dug through the tarred wood and fortified with iron bands. Water from beyond the dam spills into a channel that passes under the bridge you rode over in the minecart. I'm trying to picture this in my head, and I'm having a very hard time. Where is the river? And then there's another river in the river. Maybe that's just my lack of imagination. To the right, the natural passage continues on until you can no longer see its walls through the darkness. Braced against one of the support beams, some 10 paces away, stands a rickety wooden shack that must have once served as a foreman's office. It has story point H6 been marked.
let's see. No.
Okay. Otherwise, read entry 4356. 4356.
I like to imagine this is like The Fugitive when Tommy Lee Jones is chasing Harrison Ford through the pipe.
Oh, absolutely. At least that's how I'm imagining.
Okay, the dam bows in the middle from years of water pressure. Water pours through gaps along the top of the dam that you take to be emergency overflow relief. Despite the water pouring forth, the dam still creaks, and occasionally under the intense pressure of the river, it holds back. The water channel you crossed is swollen far beyond intended levels, and a thin layer of water covers the ground and drains down into the multiple mine shafts that lead away from the main chamber. You can see a large pipe nearly as wide as your arm is long that extends up from... Okay, cool. That extends up from the water beyond the dam and up through the stone ceiling. The piping is still and silent. Read 1511. Let's see. Here we go. Decisions are coming. Suddenly you realize that 2 goblins have been standing a few paces away from you for some time.
Just staring at the pipes. Wow.
One of them holds a spear and gawks at its incapacitated comrade. Oh.
That Garfield is like halfway through Engorging.
Yeah.
The other
It's like a duck.
carries a bow and stares wide-eyed in your direction. The goblin archer clutches at the arrows in the makeshift quiver. At its belt, the spear-wielding goblin turns its gaze towards you and rushes at you, shouting. And then decisions.
Okay.
All right, Tommy Lee.
No.
No! Watch the book, watch
Dave.
the book,
Don't
watch
pull
the
my book.
book.
Brace yourself to receive the charge.
Lower your
Lower
hips
your
and
head.
raise yourself.
Hold on. Okay, the last 2 I don't think I can do.
So we gotta lower our hips and raise yourself.
Receive the charge.
Or dodge this. Dodge.
Darge.
Spear strike, and counterattack.
Clench your butthole.
Tommy Gnomes did a good counterattack last time by dodging, but I do like him lowering his hips with his Tommy Lee
His
Jones
little
face
gnome
and just
hips.
waiting for it. I'm gonna do that.
Alright.
60, 64.
6064.
6064.
His butt cheeks are just like pursed and
Yeah.
ready.
They're already been taught because he's been holding in a dump for a while. Ever since we got to the mine.
Of course, the moment we go underground, it's like, oh, I gotta take a shit.
Of course his shit would rear its ugly head the second I get underground.
It's all that oat bread or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck
like
that we got
fucking
from
milk
Sapphire.
and berries. Oh god, that shit like a demon.
You lower your stance and ready yourself to receive the goblin.
Lower those hips.
Lowering and clenching. The goblin leaps into the air as it nears you and thrusts the spear point at your chest. If you have military spear, which I don't have military skills, so I'm going to
Stab in the hips.
Which one?
6256, which is I think.
Just gonna get stabbed in the heart.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Tommy Lee, no.
No. Oh no.
Not expecting the sudden leap, you stagger backwards and the goblin's spear point sinks into your leg. It's like as big as my leg. You roar in pain and slash at the goblin with your own weapon. 3 strikes are enough to leave the creature unmoving on the ground. So I stab the goblin to death. I lose 3 stamina.
Oh man.
I don't got stamina.
You guys know that like video of those little eagle chicks eating that big mouse? It's like that. By Garfield.
You focus your attention on the goblin archer who is bolted to the cover of a nearby minecraft and knocked an arrow. It loses an arrow that narrowly misses, whistling past your ear. Okay.
Everybody flip
Everybody.
back over. Yeah, good. It's thingy time.
So,
Well, now
I've
we have...
eaten 3 goblin corpses.
Nice and full.
Okay, so we can close the distance and attack, loose your own arrow at the goblin, or lob a flask of Lorimer fire if the creature requires alchemy. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, throw
Yeah.
fire at his fucking head.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of sashimi here.
65 what?
Let's
Yeah,
get
let's roast something up.
Let's get some BBQ.
Get a good sear on the outside.
Which one was it?
$65.99.
99, okay. I'm just writing it down for when we come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
You dive for cover behind a support beam and retrieve a flask from a padded pouch. You hazard a glance around the beam to ensure the goblin is still there before tossing the flask at the creature's hiding spot. The goblin thinks itself clever and, with surprising accuracy, fires an arrow straight through the glass flask, a dire mistake. The gooey liquid inside splashes outward toward the goblin, igniting from contact with the air. Oh no. The creature shrieks in dismay as fire rains down over the minecraft. Flailing and screaming, the goblin scrambles toward the water channel, throws itself into the water, and is swiftly swept down the stream.
Oh my god!
Read entry
Yeah.
1420.
I wanted to
Yeah.
eat it.
I feel bad.
I like how contemptuous it was. The goblin fancies himself clever. Fucking
Little
asshole.
does the
You're gonna
goblin
burn
know.
for
But
that.
also, like, you think about the physics of you throwing the glass bottle, him shooting an arrow. If the arrow goes straight through the bottle, and now the arrow is covered in the goo, isn't it like there will be goo here,
Also
but also
burning,
like
yeah.
a flaming
Yeah.
arrow shooting this
Oh,
way?
yeah, it's a
Yes.
whole mess.
It's a whole disaster.
There's a lot of stuff. A lot of fire and goo.
Uh-oh. Just as you think you might have found some peace, you hear a sound like oncoming thunder. After some time, the noise resolves into the sound of countless goblin feet flooding into the cavern.
Eat them all!
Okay.
That's going to be to you next.
In moments, the chamber is filled with goblins flowing out of the tunnels and packing shoulder to shoulder in a
Jesus.
ring surrounding you.
Jesus.
The goblins jeer and brandish weapons and torches. Though the air is filled with malice, none of them attack. Interesting. The door of the foreman's office creaks open, and the goblin horde falls silent. In the doorway stands the single largest goblin you've ever seen, easily half again the height of another. What? Easily half again the height of another goblin.
It's like half
He's
taller.
1.5 times.
Half.
Okay,
50% taller.
150% a goblins. I'm glad we mathed this out
You
together.
sure did.
And as wide as he is tall, rolls of fat cascading from his chin. Unlike the other goblins, who wear no more than worn leathers, this one is outfitted with a bewildering array of armor, all too big or too small for him. A fine breastplate has been deconstructed into sections and lashed awkwardly across his chest. What were once fine velvet trousers are being held up by a hardworking combination of sturdy leather belt and suspenders.
He needs a belt and suspenders.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Just a fat man.
Or
goblin.
And a huge winged helmet sits atop his head, underneath which peeks a small pig-like orange eyes. Okay. The vast goblin surveys the room with a superior glare and idly fingers an iridescent stone fragment on a cord around his neck. He steps out of the office in a manner that seems a passable attempt at looking regal, shutting the door behind him with a slap that shakes the whole of the structure. He then immediately ruins the grandeur of his exit by taking a final disgusting chomp of a rat on a stick he's holding in his left hand and tossing the remains dismissively to the side, eliciting a yelp from the unfortunate underling it hits. I am the great Splig, king of all goblins, he
Nice
bellows.
name, nerd.
Splig.
You fucking geek. But this geek's throwing rats.
He throws his arms wide, spraying bits of half-chewed rat from his maw. We have some choices here. I've already made...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry!
So, Garfield has 3 choices. He can say his breath rank with goblin meat. Who?
Steamy with goblin meat.
Who? You must leave this place. Oh, great Splig, I come bearing a warning. Requires deception or performance.
You have deception.
I do have deception.
You gonna try to trick this fucking guy?
I mean, like, I feel like Garfield's style
Is trickery.
it's typically just forceful murder.
Yeah.
But he's eaten so much, he's kind of like in sort of a post-meal, languor. So he's more likely to be a little mischievous.
Yeah.
Like mailing people to wherever. And,
Timbuktu.
yeah, Timbuktu. So why not? We can do that. Although I'm really curious what, who does, if it makes him really mad.
He probably does.
Yeah.
So we tricking him?
What would you guys rather do? Say who or trick him?
I feel like we're already testing fate by the fact that we're in the middle of this giant circle of people, and, if we piss them off, then we probably will definitely have to fight. At least if we're
Right.
trying to save them, they're not going to attack us immediately.
Right.
I could be wrong.
No, that checks out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't mind killing everyone, but I mean, Kevin Costner might not survive.
That might not make it out of this mine.
Nope.
So
I'm
5,
feeling
3,
pretty
6,
brittle.
7.
He's got to take a
5, 3,
shit.
6, 7?
His back hurts.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's been a whole day.
Also, all that travel. You know, sometimes you can't poop when you travel.
Yeah,
You're in a new place.
I'm gonna have to
poop here.
I'm gonna have to translate this into Garfield language because it's definitely not. So you gesture behind you towards the dam. You see that, you piece of shit? It's a dam that keeps you from getting fucked. You take a moment for this to sink in before you continue. You can see that the water is just like, it's coming and it's coming hard and it'll fuck your shit to shit.
Straight to shit time.
Right. That's because the dam is like Kevin Costner's Fragile Ego, and the water's just like about to wreck you up.
You're losing steam, Garfield.
You're losing the room.
It's just a matter of time before you're fucked in the fuck. At this, there is hushed muttering among the goblins.
I think the giant cat's right.
Who look up wearily.
We are fucked in the fuck.
I think that cat's having a stroke.
And split.
It's because you're so busy digesting your brain. There's no blood going to your brain.
He's got a toothpick. He's like, yeah, damn. He's like getting chunks of goblin bones out of it. It's like, this damn's no good. The massive goblin king goes silence and brings a hush upon the chamber. He squints at you for a moment before giving a rough laugh. I don't believe you, he grunts.
Okay.
Tell a tale of a tragic flooding. Threaten him with explosives. Do we have M7 or X8? Okay, that's my jam.
You already made
the dam's gonna fuck up your fucking. You know what? I'm just bombing you.
I'll make that choice.
Yeah.
I'll threaten him with a bomb. You take out the explosive from your pack, or Jane's pack.
I'll hand you the bomb.
Yeah.
Gingerly.
And brandish it, causing Splig and me, the goblins, to lean forward to get a better look.
No.
Careful, the ribbons!
You explain that it's an explosive powerful enough for mining. You explain further that your only goal is to remove any living goblins from the mines, but you have no issues leaving dead ones behind.
Oh my god!
Kosh like, goblin lives mean nothing to me. Takes another moment for the goblins to comprehend the precise nature of your threat, but when they do, they draw back in fear, hissing and pointing at the explosive. Splig stares at you while the tension builds and puts up a hand for silence. Ta, he spits. That could be dung wrapped in paper. I don't believe you.
Oh,
Very pretty paper.
He turns up his chins and gives you a defiant glare.
We're gonna have to do it, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're either gonna have to. Our options are light the fuse or draw your weapons and attack.
Let's blow the shit
Already
up.
tried to kill
Blow
one.
these fuckers up!
I think I should probably just try to fight this one because
Well, we were told not to blow up.
Yeah.
That's true. We were told not to blow up the
It's like
place.
the one thing we're not supposed to do.
I disagree. I disagree.
We got the bomb right there. It's right there.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna write my dissent.
the
My dissenting
the only
opinion.
problem is that if I make this decision,
Uh-huh.
then I can't actually attack him because that's the next decision. So
Well then,
hopefully Tommy Lee Gnomes or Bitch Queen can.
I think Bitch Queen still has a.
I have archery.
She still has a token up.
I do.
Okay. So do we want Bitch Queen to make? Let me see.
I mean, counterpoint. I bet we could blow the dam up and they all drown.
We could,
Instead
but we're
of
inside it right now.
We float atop the Garf.
So
boat.
okay.
The bloated corpses of all
Just
the goblins.
strategically, I think Bitch Queen should be the one to make that
Okay,
decision.
which one is it?
Sure.
And then 5074, and I can.
Okay, wait. This is the one. Okay.
Mhm.
Ta. That's not right. Okay, so draw your weapon and prepare for battle. 5074.
5074.
You draw your weapon and fall into a combat stance. Splig smirks and snorts a laugh. Ha! You think you're a match for me, Splig, king of all goblins? He shouts something to his goblin minions and holds up his hands to the shrill cheers of his cohorts.
He turns at them. Something!
He holds out a meaty hand, and the
Yeah.
crowd parts for three goblins carrying a massive oaken club. Splig takes it from them with satisfaction, patting its gnarled surface as they scurry away. Splig bellows a deep, joyous laugh, and the goblins all around you cackle with glee. The rotund goblin roars and sweeps his club through the air overhead, and his minions unleash a series of cheers in return, causing you to reflexively tense for flight.
I think that Garfield's just, like, looking at his meaty hands and, like, licking his lips
nom.
and, like, drooling.
He's gonna eat fingers like chicken wings. Splig cracks his neck and grins. I'll show you, he hefts his club, pointing at you, just what happens to those who cross Splig, the king of all goblins. He says his title a lot.
You mentioned that. Yeah.
Goad him into attacking. Charge at the giant goblin with everything you have. Channel runic lightning into your enemy, which I can't because I don't have runes. Toss the explosive at Splig's feet and take cover. That's M7 or X8.
Well, if you're passing... if you
Passing
just wanna,
to you, right?
Yeah, if you're going to pass to me, then charge at him, I think. Because I have brawling, athletics, military...
You don't need anything for those, right?
I know, but I'm assuming
Oh,
I'm going to
okay,
fight
okay.
him,
I
and
understand
I'm
now.
very good at fighting.
So
But
let's...
we made the explosive.
I'm
Why are
gonna
you
say...
trying to blow up the dam?
I feel like we should use the things we make.
I think I'm gonna say charge at the giant goblin with everything you have. Right?
Which includes the bomb.
3, 4, 4. That's 3, 4, 4, 8.
Okay. 3, 4, 4, 8. You grip your weapon and charge at the giant goblin. Splig takes a few steps forward to meet your charge. He swings his club. I do this with a tear in my eye because
Yeah,
I
you don't
know
want to.
what's about to
Does
happen.
Splig lower his hips?
He swings his club in a wide arc,
They're already very
and you
low.
swing your weapon to collide with it at full force. If you have athletics, brawling, or military, yep, I have all those. 39, 47. Yeah, 39, 47.
Fuck this goblin!
The collision shakes through your arms and nearly causes you to lose your grip on your weapon. Luckily, the impact has set Splig off balance as well. You recover first and swing again, this time striking the side of Splig's winged helm, ringing his skull. You plant one foot firmly and kick him square in the chest,
Yeah, we did.
causing him to topple over backward with an undignified squeal. 38-57. You and Splig take a moment to reassess the situation. Smaller goblins gather around you, but notice that some are sneaking away up the tunnel to the mine's entrance. Splig doesn't seem to have noticed his minions abandoning him. He's too busy watching you and waiting for you to make the next move.
He is also too bitchy.
I can press the Goblin King back with a ferocious charge. Yeah, looks like I'm going to do that.
Do it.
2491.
2491?
Yeah. With a roar that startles more than a few goblins, you rush towards Splig, swinging your weapon in an intimidating show of force. The large goblin takes a step back, but then hefts his massive club as if preparing to smash you out of your charge once you get close.
Smash you right out of your pants.
If you have brawling, dueling, or military, yup. 6722.
This is really taking us on a journey.
Garfield's
Jesus.
just like standing nearby with his Cajun seasoning and a little bib and a knife and fork.
You stop short just before you enter Splig's reach. The giant goblin swings through the open air and staggers forward into your own swing, which connects with the side of his oversized helmet and causes it to spin on his head and block his vision. You kick him hard in the stomach, sending him crashing. I'm trying not to kill him.
Yeah,
really
you're like,
are.
I'm just gonna keep kicking you in the chest until you stop coming for me.
Crashing into the foreman's cabin. The rotted wood of the cabin wall gives way beneath Splig's weight, causing the entire structure to collapse on top of him.
Nice.
And I weep once more.
No!
You try so hard. You try so hard not to kill.
Oh no. And this
He
is
might not
probably
be
gonna
dead.
the last
He might
one,
just
isn't
be
it?
a little squished.
7943. A moment later, Splig appears from out of the wreckage,
good.
bloodied, bruised, and all bloodlust gone from his half-unfocused eyes. He staggers forward and plops the winged helmet back on his head. Smaller goblins gather around him, jabbering to one another. Splig kicks a bit of rubble aside and reaches down to lift his massive club. He hefts it and points it in your direction, his beady eyes shadowed by his oversized helmet. Then, without a word, he breaks into a dead sprint toward the bridge over the water channel and soon vanishes up the tunnel heading toward the mine's entrance. A panic follows, with countless goblins abandoning their weapons and the reason to scramble over one another and follow their cowardly leader. Within a few moments, you are alone in the empty mine, only the echoes of screaming goblins in the tunnels above and discarded. What? Only the echoes of screaming goblins in the tunnels above and discarded. Oh, discarded makeshift weapons, spears, and clubs littering the ground as evidence, this is really weird the way they punctuated this, that these halls were home to a goblin horde. You pick through the leavings, not expecting much. However, under a plank from the foreman's office, you find a shard of iridescent crystal engraved with an ancient symbol. You gain the War Rune, item L.
Yay! Oh, what did we need the War Rune for?
I forget.
There was a thing we needed it for.
Hey!
We needed a frost
We
rune.
finished it.
Yay!
Item L?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, look at this fucking war room.
Let's see. Oh,
Passing
fuck yeah.
It's a long walk back to the beginning of the mine, but you take comfort in the fact that you don't have to be wary of any goblin ambushes.
Garfield is so sad he didn't eat Splig.
Oh, they all ran away.
He's munching on something in the corner. He got a hold of something.
You opt to avoid the hidden passage you entered by and instead head to the main entrance, walking past an abandoned guard post and several makeshift wooden barriers. You lift the wooden beam that bars your path, drop it to one side, and throw open the doors. The walk back to Dragonholt will be short, and then you can deliver the good news to Fiore. The quest is complete.
Yay!
Did we get anything?
No,
Just says the quest is complete. Oh, we probably have to go back and talk to Fiore.
We gained self-respect.
And a pretty party bomb.
And yeah.
Why am I only good at fighting?
I'm so much more than that.
Make sure you write
I
this down
just want to write music.
in your items there.
Garfield's just like eating a humanoid arm, going like, Lazarg!
Lazarg!
Yay!
You're gonna have a haunting shit later.
Just like it
Full of goblin fingers.
looks like a big old owl pellet.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. Follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.